How can I make myself sound super handsome? Hey everyone, welcome to That Pedal Show. Joey Landreth here. Hey everyone, hope you're all good. We are super buzzy at the moment because our dear friend Joey last night had a very big evening. Hello, gorgeous girl.
He did. Bonnie Raitt was nominated and won, indeed, 2 Grammys, one of which was something to do with Best Americana Performance or something like that. Anyway, the song was her cover of Made Up Mind by the Brothers Landreth, whom she name-checked and said it was a kick-ass song, to quote Bonnie Raitt. So,
a kick-ass.
Huge congratulations to our friends at Brothers Landreth. What an amazing thing.
Yes.
What an amazing thing.
Yep.
Right. Welcome to VCQ.
Well, thank you.
I noticed we've got some fairly serious caching going on in the machine, which isn't great.
I'll pretend like I know what that means. Yeah, so anyway, that was awesome.
I think people are going to be moaning about jumpy video. Yeah, that was awesome. We're going to turn the super chats off straight away because we have enough to be getting along with.
Beautiful.
Before Meat Feast comes around.
What's on the menu for Meat Feast?
To be fair, it's not Meat Feast tonight. It's chili, Daniel.
Ah, fantastic.
I cooked 2 chilies, one vegetarian one and one beef.
Oh, how lovely.
Steak one.
Actually,
no, it's shin, actually. I think it's shin.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. How lovely.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to VCQ. We do seem to have some internet problems, so let us know you can hear us and see us. Okay.
Yes, so that was the big news this week. Brothers Landreth. Also, some news for our patrons. We have the winner of January's giveaway, Tim from Forest Grove in Oregon. He won a JHS Emperor V2.
Oh, no. You be quiet.
You shut up.
You shut up.
You shut up.
Yeah, well done, Tim. Nice. If you want to be in the hat for the patron giveaways, then please register for them or become a patron, basically, on patreon.com. You'll get an email each month and we give something away every month. So happy days.
Yeah, lovely.
With big thanks to JHS for allowing us to give that away.
Yes, people saying it keeps buffering. Freezing. Oh, heavens.
The reminder about the are you just out of interest, can you pause your video?
Yep.
That might help.
Make sure everything else is turned off.
Don't know why it's so crap today. I'm just going to go and make sure Catherine isn't doing anything internet heavy.
Okay.
Keep the people entertained, Daniel.
Indeed. I'm awesome at that. Okay. Oh, some big news as well for our EU customers. God bless you all. It's taken 18 months waiting for a suitable solution for this, but we finally have found a solution for shipping orders to the EU. So that's brilliant. Catherine has been on the ball and she's managed to sort it, which is magic. So we've updated our store. We can now ship to the EU without incurring additional VAT and customs fees at your borders on orders under 150 quid. This is because we now charge EU customers VAT when you shop at the TPS store, and your parcels should now travel straight through border controls with no extra VAT or customs clearance fees to pay. It's the Brexit, the gift that keeps on giving. But anyway, it's sorted.
Nothing to do with Brexit.
Oh, is it not?
It's EU VAT law.
Okay.
Literally nothing to do with Brexit.
So every country in the EU has to do the same thing?
Yeah, it's intra-EU.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still going to moan about Brexit anyway, because that's what I do. But no, okay, that's very interesting. I had no idea. Yeah, so there you go. There you go. Good. Done.
I think we've got all kinds of problems.
Okay, well, while Mick is doing that, let's see. Heavens. Well, okay. Tyler Appleby, good morning from Nebraska. How lovely. Fuzz protagonist, all good in Colorado. Sweet home, Colorado. Right. David Tompkins might as well jump. Very good. Very good. Yes, but lots of buffering going on. Adam D, hello from How lovely. Right. So, how are we doing, Mickey Magic? No?
Dead.
Dead? Okay.
Looks dead.
Well, that's not what we wanted.
Um,
People saying refresh here did the trick.
yeah, try refresh your feed. Yeah, really sorry about this, folks. We've got a buffering issue. The internet's really slow. Don't know why.
So basically, if you go on the top right-hand corner with a little refresh button, if you hit that, it might help. Is that right?
The problem is that big red 98%
Oh, okay.
over there.
Okay.
Daniel, tell the people we're gonna pause the video feed for a sec just to see if it can catch up.
Okay, we're going to
we'll
pause.
have to keep talking.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right. So Mick's going to pause the video feed for a minute and see if we can get it to work out. Ah, technology. Come on. It's always. It was perfect up until we started. It's just seems to be the way of things. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, if you want to do a refresh, see if that helps. We've got.
You will be seeing a black screen.
You'll be seeing a black screen at the moment, but that's okay because we're still here. We haven't disappeared into a sea of chocolate tapioca pudding. We are still here trying to sort out these flippin' technical issues. Oh dear. Right. Okay. Nelly Bob closed and reopened the app. Fisher Price Internet, yes. Right. Okay. Anyway, how was your week? We've got some big things happening at the moment. We're filming tomorrow, which is going to be a lot of fun. And on Wednesday, early in the AM, I shall jump in my car and go down and pick up Mr. Pete Thorne. And we're going to do a show with him on Wednesday, which is awesome fun. Really looking forward to that. Yeah. So yes, Mr. El Rondo, the lag is not on the user side. Yep, we know that. Hopefully it'll get under control.
Yeah, we'll give it another couple of minutes. Super chat is off, so if we do have to give up, we'll come back next week and answer all the super chats from this week. Yeah, if you've got any questions for Pete Thorne, let us know. We will definitely get into those. Pete's going to come here on Wednesday. It'd be an absolute delight to welcome him to
TPS Towers.
TPS Towers.
Shangri-La.
Yep.
There we go. Oh, look, it's dropping down.
Yeah. Okay.
We might be okay.
We might be all right. Let's see.
There we go. Well, the first 10 minutes of this,
let's see.
There we go. Well, the first 10 minutes of this, and for our podcast listeners, was riveting.
No, we will get that out.
Well, fair enough.
David Tompkins says, put a few more 50p coins in the meter. Yeah, I wish that would solve it. No, the weather's good here. Normally, we've got that beamy Wi-Fi, so it's not a cable Wi-Fi, it's a beamy job, and it's usually fine. If it rains or if the weather's really bad, it gets worse. But
is it like the Tesla Wi-Fi?
Clear day when it's got line of sight, it's fine.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay. So before we get into we won't get into the super chats until we know it is actually working properly. David Tompkins, hello. Jim B, hello. David Pekarski, hello. Morning, y'all. Don't forget the podcast recording. For once, I didn't forget. Now we just have other problems today. So,
gives with one hand.
Jeremy Rice, good day, gents. Hello from cold northern Canada. Well, there we are.
Lovely. Mr. Baker says, your voice is so soothing, Dan. Oh, no, it says, your voice is soothing, though, Dan. This works for me. Yeah, my voice has been called many things. Never soothing. It's been called annoying, high, annoyingly high. Yeah. My voice would have been good on as a 50s radio presenter where all you needed was mids. You couldn't have anything else in those microphones. Castrol GDX motor oil.
Well, also because the hi-fi technology of the day couldn't reproduce any bass or treble.
Exactly. So mine would have been perfect.
Yeah. Who turned the light off, says Raf Freitas. Yeah, I can hear, says Tone Dragon. Henning Hesse says, audio, please. Well, hopefully you should be getting audio now. I really hope you're getting audio. The meters say you're getting audio. We have sound, says Ian Glencross. Hello, my dude, says Albus Band. 64 Cousins. Just bought a G3 Atom. Now what should I do?
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Get some pedals. Get them in those loops.
Oh, that's great, mate. Thank you very much.
Buy another amp. Experiment with wet, dry and parallel. It's just a gift that keeps on gifting.
It's very fun. Okay, Stratman Jerry, have you guys heard of Venus Witch Effects? He makes a killer wire. Mick, I think you'd approve. I haven't heard of them. I will look into that. That sounds interesting. I know Red Witch Effects. I don't know Venus Witch Effects.
Seems better. Video seems to be working now, says John Hood. Everything is good now. Kyle Harker says looks good. Yep, solid now, says Wit. Hello, Wit Anderson. Seems better, says Nelly Bob. Okay, good. Good.
Justin Garcia says, love that Pete is using real amps at this run in the UK.
I was surprised to see that.
That'd be an interesting question as someone who uses both professionally.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that he is doing that, but there we are.
Well, I'm not. He's awesome.
No, but I think the reality of those, I mean, it's be a good topic for conversation, isn't it?
Sure.
Reality of those theatre shows is, that's where, if you're going to find them anywhere, that's where you'll find them.
Right.
The digital solutions.
Okay.
Topic of conversation.
Indeed.
Good. Is Stonehenge interrupting the signal, says Tim Chalmers. No, we're not doing Stonehenge.
Just want to ask a practical question at this point.
Right, let's get into some Super Chai then. If you're confused, this happens it's currently happening every other Monday. And we take questions from the Super Chats. And you're very welcome. We're glad everyone is here. Thank you for being here.
G Bar says, don't take this wrong, but Friday's vlog made me prize great guitar techs even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved that video, and I was so glad when you finally managed to get those things to the F-hole. I had no idea it was such a nightmare.
Yeah. Well,
are you still scarred from it emotionally?
No, I'm all right. I was thinking about changing one of the tone pots actually, but anyway, that's another story.
Right.
I've done semi-hollow guitars before, and it's been a nightmare. And I thought, well, I've had two nightmares, therefore, how much worse can this one be?
None more worse.
None more worse. And the answer is, well, the F-holes are actually smaller on a 335 than they are a Casino.
No way.
And they're miles smaller than they are on a Gretsch. Plus, you really can't go in through the bridge pickup route on mine. So
right.
It was, it was a pain, plus some other things. Anyway. But gee, thanks for watching and thanks for enduring. I tried to make it as warts and all as possible. And as you say, please value your good quality guitar repairer person.
Yeah.
The work they do, you're not paying them for the job they do. You're paying them for the
thousands.
20 years of experience.
Yeah. The thousands of jobs they've done beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alessandro Sivieri. Hello, Alessandro. He says, hi, TPS. Belated Happy New Year. And to you, Alessandro. What would you suggest as a stereo analog delay? I already have the DM2 Wazza, but I would like to obtain a wider stereo image and remain in the analog world if possible. Thank you.
Such an interesting question. Most analog delays, when they say they're stereo, what happens is the the delay side will go out of one side and the direct side will go out of the other. It just splits the mix. For a true stereo delay, you'd need two engines, one left and right. And off the top of my head, I don't know if there is one that does that.
Does the
No, it doesn't. It's mono.
the Sir?
Yeah. That's a really interesting question. So
Yeah.
basically, if you think about it, like it basically ends up being wet dry. You get delay from one side, direct on the. I think in that, if what you're after is stereo delays, and that's the world where really good digital delay shines. You know, something like the the Future Factory, from Free the Tone, the LVX, which is amazing. I use the Otto from BAM. Otto Machines BIM, which is the stereo 12-bit delay. I think in that, if what you're after specifically is stereo delays, yeah, doing it in an analog world, you may as well have two separate analog delay pedals, one on the left and one on the right.
Split the signal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully somebody is writing in the comments all the stereo analog delay pedals. I've just had a quick search and I couldn't find many.
Right.
If any. Might be that Electro Harmonics do one. But
Oh, Nicholas Frank said Clockwork.
oh, from J Rocket.
J Rocket.
That's
So,
an exceptional thing.
yeah.
Well, it is. Ours broke down, unfortunately, but I think
Yeah. So
I think
Chris-
I might have killed it.
Chris got in
power-wise.
touch and is sending a new one.
Oh, is he?
But
Did he say what he thought the problem might be?
I don't know.
No.
But I will. Is that true stereo? I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if it was. But they're quite rare.
Miguel de los Santos says, for SGs, do you prefer the bat-shaped pickguard or the half guard? Half guard, definitely for me. But of course, Angus Young had the bat-shaped one, so that's fine.
But the 70s or late 60s whole thing.
Yeah, they got bigger, didn't they?
Yeah.
At some point, in the late 60s,
Late 60s,
mid-late
yeah.
60s.
So I remember, Pete Townsend, when he was using those with the big pickguard. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty sure Angus has had a big pickguard.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it did. Todd Roy says, just get the halo and call it a day. For stereo delay, it's hard to go past the halo. It sounds so flippin' massive. And it's so interesting, even though it does a lot, you just put it on the first preset, the Andy Timmons preset, and it's like, what else do you need? You know, it's just flippin' amazing. Oh, wow.
There's pictures of him with both, but I think the one I see him with most is the big pickguard one.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
I was going through, looking at some stuff for a possible vlog about my favourite Aussie guitar solos. And I was listening to some AC/DC. And he wasn't on my radar until I was much older. I really hadn't heard a lot of him.
Angus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Far out, man.
Yeah.
It's extraordinary.
Well, and Malcolm too. We always talk about Angus, but Malcolm is such a big part of that whole deal.
So Angus wouldn't sound like Angus if it wasn't what was going on underneath him.
Yeah.
But his
so
tone is so good, and his note choice and his phrasing is so lyrical. It's really incredible. It's when you see him interviewed and stuff, it's like it's hard to marry the two together.
Yeah.
Because he's such a rocker, but then it's just anyway.
It's quite interesting if you listen to, let's say you listen to Highway to Hell back to back and pick some of those solos apart, and then go listen to a Chuck Berry record. It's phenomenal. how many of those licks are straight rock and roll.
Really? Okay,
yeah.
right.
It is. Yeah.
That is that this from there
Yeah.
into that into the major 4. You know.
Yeah.
That's the first time I'd heard that sort of a change.
Oh, no way.
Because that song's all major,
Yeah.
right? And he starts the song like minor pentatonic, but then he moves into that major minor thing, and it's so
Which song is that?
beautiful.
Is it Touch Too
You
Much?
Shook Me All Night Long.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's just he's just so good.
They were on. When I haven't got anything to watch on the TV, I usually call up BBC 4, and quite often on BBC 4 they'll have some old Top of the Pops running,
Right.
or there'll be a show on like Old Grey Whistle Test or something, and AC/DC were on with Bon Scott on Top of the Pops. It's flipping hilarious,
Wow.
and they're doing Touch Too Much, and they edit bits out because the lyrics are pretty spicy. Anyway, right, we're clearly never going to get through. I think we're going to be buffering again, but there we are.
Okay.
Which is really annoying.
Yes, Dan, I did mention the LVX. It's a spectacular stereo delay. Again, digital, but it does, it's great. But so far, the only one that's been suggested is the Clockwork, which is wonderful.
Onion Keeper says, the aged Pelham Blue SG is such a beauty. Hope to see and hear more of it. Will you keep it? Well, I can't keep it because it belongs to Gibson and I don't think it's for sale. And even if it was for sale, it's like literally the most expensive one they do. So even on a boys deal, I think it would be out of reach. But yeah, it's going to stay as long as I can ignore their requests to send it back. Yeah, see how that goes. Angus had a black one with the full, but his red ones had the half guard apparently.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, the Mucky Muck Man. Right, come on,
Let's do it.
let's do it. Let's get into these super chai. Massive thanks to BV for being among us and moderating the chat and also organising everything. And an extra special chat thanks to BV for putting us in touch with Pete Thorne this week.
Yeah, mate. Thank you so much.
And helping that to all grease those wheels, as it were. Thank you, BB. We appreciate it.
Yeah, mate.
This is a follow-up to my cable and buzz question from a few weeks ago, says Rodrigo Gaspari. Do the tests shown by Dan on the patch cable video rule out those kind of problems, or could all these tests be okay and the cables still have a problem that produces hum, buzz and noise? So Rodrigo is obviously he's got buzz coming from somewhere. He suspects it's his cable. If he tests the cables in the way you showed on your vlog, Dan,
Right.
could the buzz still happen?
So if the cables test perfectly, then the cables are fine. The buzz is coming from somewhere else. So let's say if it's decent shielded cable, then it's whatever's happening noise wise. Put it this way: if you get a speaker cable and you plug a guitar into it, you're going to pick up loads of noise. The way a guitar cable works is basically it's like a Faraday cage around the center part of the cable, and it stops a lot of that RF getting through into the signal. So as long as those connections are good, then there's no noise there. It's going to be coming from somewhere else.
I was just giving you some music.
That was
Dan.
lovely.
Yeah, because Michael Mack wants to know what the telly was in the 12 Guitars Shorts. It's Dan's guitar. It's called Butters. It's a 52 heavy relic with a, can't remember, specific profile neck.
Right.
And it's a great guitar. It's just a great blackguard. That was it crying because it doesn't like me playing it. Put me down. Give me back to Dan.
Well, Jake Francis says, hi Dan, I don't think I've ever heard you talk about the Divinals, loud Vox amp, Telly's P90s, or their inspiration. So interesting. we had the album launch when Max Schramm's album came out, and they turned up to the album launch, and I'd never met them before, and Chrissy was there, and the guitar player played a TV yellow Junior double cut or special. Was it a special? And he was flipping awesome. He just had this just killer groove, and they had some great songs and like live, incredible. Yeah, they were brilliant. She's no longer with us, unfortunately. She passed away. She had cancer.
Who did?
Chrissy from the Divinals.
Oh,
Yeah. Chrissy Amphlett. Yeah, but they were amazing.
were they an Aussie band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've just been revisiting. So really funny. I saw this post from Brett Garsett last week, and I'm like, oh yeah. So I remember Brett playing with John Farnham. And
You're the voice, Dan.
You're the voice, and so that the guitar solos on that album and seeing him play live, was just incredible. So I started going back listening to a lot of these Aussie bands from that era, and yeah, there's some just wonderful Ian Moss from Cold Chisel. Man, you'd love his guitar playing, just epic. Some really, really great stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think we're
back in the game? Oh, no.
we're still troubling. We'll carry on and see how we get on.
Okay.
I thought
Evan Glover said, I thought it was buffering. It was just Dan thinking. Yep.
Yeah, Rodrigo, the advice once again is to strip everything out, put it back one by one, which is really boring, we know. But unfortunately, if you've got a hum or a buzz problem, you have to do forensic process of elimination.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Whit Anderson. Hello,
Hey,
Whit.
Woo.
He says, Mick, we were all feeling the emotional journey you were on with the 335 install video.
So funny.
Good news is that you succeeded and it made a marked difference. Bonus, the difference was better. Thanks for sharing. Much love from Woo. Thank you, Whit. I think it's better, actually. Funnily enough, having had time pass, played the guitar a bit more. Because when you're making a show like that, when you're actually in the throes of making the video, you're not really listening because you're worrying about the cameras being on and the audio recording and all the other crap that goes along with trying to make a video of doing something horrifically complicated. Plus I got cans on, I'm playing along to a track. I can't hear if the guitar sounds worse, better or any otherwise. So you don't really have chance to reflect until a little while later. And listening to the audio back, having played the guitar a bit more, I think it's much better than I'd concluded in the video.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's miles better.
Yeah.
And actually, for my preferences, the differences here in the room, I would say, are probably a good 2 or 3 times what gets translated via recording, via data compression and all of that. Yeah. So with apologies. But the point of saying that is, in the video, you know, I would say probably 70% thought it was an improvement, 30% thought they preferred the original pickups. And that's just to underline that point that says it's all personal preference at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Isn't it? It's what you like and what you prefer. One video I'd love to make one day, and a discussion that I'd love to have, is the old guitar store trick. If you make it louder and you add bass, the average human is going to say it sounds better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Louder, bassier equals better.
Mm-hmm.
And if you say that to a mix engineer or a producer, vis-a-vis guitar tones, they will fundamentally disagree, because those are all the things that you usually get rid of in a mix. Certainly one of the last things you want in a proper live band mix. And as an extension of that, I think is the principal problem with digital modelers when they get taken out at gigs.
Sure.
Because they've all got loads of that.
Yeah.
Loads of too much bass, loads of bloat, which makes them sound so fantastic at low volume and so fantastic in guitar stores and so fantastic on YouTube videos. And it is, going through this opens up increasingly more complex cans of worms for me anyway, because again, we've said this many times on TPS, but go back and head onto YouTube and listen to some solo guitar tracks from famous records that you love. Skinny Ass. You're like, really? Is that guitar sound?
Yeah.
Van Halen is usually the one that gets quoted, but anyway, sorry, massive tangent. The people like louder and bassier.
Yeah.
It's a good way to convince someone that something's better.
Yeah.
Until you have played in a few bands and done a few mixes.
Yeah. Sure.
Anyway, thank you, Whit.
Scott Ascot says Baby Animals, an Aussie band, Baby Animals. Yes, so guitarist Dave Leslie and Baby Animals. That debut album from the Baby Animals is one of the best rock albums, and his guitar playing is just astonishing. They're awesome.
Yeah. Baby Animals. I'm going to have to get...
So the singer from Baby Animals married... oh, come on.
Is the singer from Baby Animals a man or a woman?
A woman.
And did she marry a man or a woman?
She married a man from Nuno Betancourt.
Oh.
Yeah. I think they were on tour with them when they met.
Nice.
Yeah.
I spent a very interesting afternoon with Nuno once.
Really?
Yeah.
He's incredible.
He's unbelievably good. He is unbelievably good. Jason Phillips says, hello, I got an Isbell telly for Christmas. How's yours doing, Mick? It's doing great. It belongs to a guy called... what's his name? Charlie. It was one of the guitars that, with some small regret, I moved on to raise funds for my old Strat. Charlie's using it as his main guitar, and we might do a pedalboard, viewer pedalboard show with Charlie. He's a lovely guy, really good player, and it's with him having a happy life.
Right.
I am a bit sad about it, but some things had to go in order to pay for the old Strat, and that was one of them. So
yeah. Yes, well, when I met Jason Isbell, he did ask about your telly, and I said, well, if Mick was here, he'd tell you himself. No, he didn't.
Oh, good. I was getting a bit worried there. Mind you, Jason Isbell, he can talk, can't he? What's he playing on the road?
Yeah.
The 59 Strat,
like everything.
a burst.
Yeah. I think I play a telly for like maybe 2 tunes.
Yeah. Swizz871, leg ends. Any suggestions for a wet dry funk rig? I was thinking a compressor colour box for a dry DI sound and an envelope filter in the other. Any other ideas for pedals? Thank you. Says Swizz871. I think you've nailed it there, mate.
That's a really nice idea. I love the idea of splitting the envelope filter in one side. That's really, really cool.
Only thing with a colour box, just try one. We've never been able to get any headroom out of it.
Yeah.
I can't play it without it distorting, and I don't know if we're doing something idiotically wrong.
But I think that's the thing, isn't it?
Right.
It's like, it is that sound of it clipping. I don't know. I think, with enough, with it on the maximum amount of voltage, with the smallest amount of input gain, is when it wouldn't clip. But as soon as you get any love into it,
it starts happening. Yeah, I tried to use it as a bass pre, and I just couldn't get it clean. So that a word of warning about that. But yeah, I think that sounds great. So filter, the direct, trying to emulate a direct sound is a really great idea for that funk sound, because famously, of course, Nile Rodgers incorporated that into some of his tones.
But that compressor,
yeah.
So, depending on the compressor that you use, but something like a Cali 76, like an 1176 type compressor into that direct type thing.
Yeah,
just wicked.
Seeing as you're asking, you've already mentioned a filter. Now, Source Audio do an amazing filter called the... Oh, forgive me, it's purple. It's the Source Audio filter pedal, and it's Spectrum.
Yeah,
and it's completely brilliant. And within the Spectrum, given that you've got a few presets and stuff on board, it will do a few synthy sounds too, like pseudo synthy, filtery type sounds. And it might be that you could take your filter idea and head off that direction a little bit as well, which would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
A sound that if you're splitting the envelope filter, having chorus on one side, and actually that's a conversation I had with Robert Keeley. And when I did the thing with Mick and I were asked separately to do like a guest solo on one of Paul David's videos. And the guest solo I did in Paul David's video, I had the envelope filter and the chorus split wet dry.
Yeah.
And it's just a really cool sound. Yeah. But that would also work in the funk thing.
Nice. Joe Halliday. Hello, Joe.
Hey,
Joe
Joe.
from Hello Sailor Effects. Joe, thank you very much for sending the SRV inspired 808. I haven't plugged it in yet. I'm very much looking forward to.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe also something for you as well, Dan. So,
Did he?
Joe, thank you. That's super kind of you, mate. He says, fantastic episode last week. Basically, I told myself or I told my wife, not sure, after my recent acquisition of a Pelham Blue Flying V, I now need an original 53 Pro and an SG. Does TPS provide marriage counsellors for when my wife sees the cost?
Oh, yeah. I don't know what to say. We're very fortunate that we can sort of find a way to justify. You know, we can't really justify it, but we do,
Yeah.
and we have very supportive wives.
Until I had a job that completely involved playing the guitar as my main source of income, those things were always a problem.
Yeah.
My current wife, Catherine, and I have been together since that's been the case. So we've never had a problem with any of that. I'm not sure I've ever had a real problem with that, but yeah. It's testy when you've got real things in life to think about, like children and
Oh man.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for me, I'm like, I think I might buy an SG. It's like, well, if I don't buy the SG, where should I go? Bills?
Mm-hmm.
Nah.
But if you've covered your bills,
Exactly. Mortgage?
you're paying your mortgage.
Covered all that.
Yeah.
Pension?
Oh, come on.
Probably. That's where it should go. Savings? Probably. That's where it should go. So it's really easy. If you've covered off all your bills, all the rest of the money you've got is either sensible or not sensible. If you've got kids, a whole other game, isn't it? Because it's like, should I buy this SG or do they need new shoes for school?
But there is a point where you can afford it or you can't afford it.
Skiing trip to the Alps?
Yeah. I mean, I mean,
I mean, the kids, that's what kids do these days, don't they?
well, they can go skiing. I'll sit home and play my guitar. They can send me pictures. Facebook Live's incredible.
And you've got to feed them as well.
Ah,
So, like, supermarket.
like my kids love beans. So,
Yeah.
Jake Francis says to vinyls, Brett Garsett with Fun and Baby Animals, Ian Moss. I've triggered an Australian 80s, 90s memory lane. Another one, Mondo Rock. Come Said the Boy. The guitar solo in that is outrageously good. Yeah.
PF Darkside 1 says, gents, would you ever consider an 80s rack clean tone with pedals, wet dry or full on with wet dry wet? That's I don't know if you've seen the episode where I've got a Boogie 5050 and a 212 Mesa cab. That's pretty much it.
Go back to the show we did, like the SG versus Les Paul, like 2 shows ago. And at the end of that, it is into that rig. And
Yeah.
it's flippin' awesome.
I mean, I'm not sure I'd ever go like full on. Some of those pre's could sound very, very, very super jangly, like almost direct.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was almost a
Yeah.
direct sound, some
Yeah.
of those things. Funnily enough, it's a sound I really despised when I was younger. But now when I hear it, I understand what it is, and I'm like, oh wow, that is such a cool sound.
Is it Michael Thompson that was the guitar player in the 80s they used for all of his clean sounds, that compressed Strat clean sound?
Certainly sounds.
Yeah, and that's like that thing.
You don't mean Richard Thompson, do you?
No.
Yeah, you hear it on all kinds of stuff. Landau as well. I'll be listening to a record one day. I'm like, that's Landau.
Right.
Credits. Yeah, it is. Michael Thompson, American guitarist. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Joe again. Also, what about a vintage guitar rig challenge? Nothing new allowed. Let's face it. That's what we all want to see. After hearing Dan's Yeah.
Ooh, there's a... Okay.
We
right,
do,
that's on the list.
Yeah, it does upset people, doesn't it?
Yeah. Not our people. No, I think we can... I find it so interesting. So, looking at through the lens of decades and massive shifts within those decades.
Yeah.
So, I've been talking to Jesse Hoff about coming on doing the Tweed show, and we're still hunting down a couple of these last deluxes. But what's really interesting is talking about what was happening on the radio and the sort of sound that people were after, and how that led the production and the R&D of the technology at the time, and how that and vice versa, how the technology led the music. I just find it so interesting.
Yeah. There's definitely shows that we could dive into those topics. Another BBC 4 thing I was watching yesterday was Southern Rock at the BBC.
Right.
So I thought I'd call that up. So it's a whole bunch of stuff from the mid to the late 70s, and I've never seen so many bursts and gold tops in one place. And there's a bunch of late 60s Gibsons as well, but there's definitely quite a few bursts. Dickie Betts was on there. I think he had a gold top, actually.
Dickie Betts.
I think it was Dickie Betts with a gold top.
Yeah.
Anyway, can't remember.
Was that with Dwayne?
It was all those bands, and I, with apologies, they all blur into one to me because
Right.
I'm not familiar or au fait with that whole thing, but I do like the guitar sounds. And what you were saying about eras,
Yeah.
there they are on British TV, because that's what it was about, with their flipping Marshalls and high watts, and you can hear it, man. You can hear it's a crank Marshall.
You can
in
see
a room.
the TV. You see the camera shaking
with a Leicester.
Yeah. Just wonderful.
And you just don't hear it anymore. So yes, Joe, we should be reminded actually that the new stuff is not the same, and old cranked stuff, if it's well maintained and it's in a nice place, it's the magic, isn't it? It's why we do this, for me anyway. Iron Wolf 1776. He says, I just ordered a Marshall JTM 45 reissue. It's due on Friday. I have a 50 watt Plexi clone I built from a kit. What do you think of pairing them wet dry?
Couldn't be better. It couldn't be better. You will have a truly magical experience that once you've experienced it, no going back.
Yep. You probably have watched where we compared the JTM 45 and our reissue Plexi, and at the end we end up with them both wet dry. It's flipping magic. And actually, I think the best tones are when we start to push the amps.
Oh yeah. Get them in a happy place.
Yeah.
What's really, really interesting with it, like you think, Marshall half stack, you start pushing them. Actually, I mean, they're loud, but the 45, which is a 30 watt amp, right? Yeah. And it really is fine.
Yeah, because it's that thing, isn't it? You get loud, spiky, no more loud,
Yeah.
just fatter, more distorted.
Yeah.
And
But
actually almost less unpleasant.
Yeah. It's remarkable.
With the JTM 45 anyway, maybe not the...
Yeah.
That needs to be up to 7 before it's in any way listenable, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's when it gets there.
Yeah.
But it's such a, like, when it gets to that point, the tonally, it's glorious, but there is something about having that amount of force that moves you in a different way,
Yeah,
you know, and it makes you play different,
Yeah.
and like you've got to wrestle it to the ground. But if you've got the cojones to do it, it's just the most magical thing. And the 45 won't do it at that volume.
No.
But you know, the 45, it gets at that volume, it's just there's nothing left. Yeah, very cool.
Justin Shrew is giving us very nice compliments about our playing.
Oh, bless you,
Justin. Thank you for the kindness.
That's very, way too kind,
yes.
you might say.
I'm not going to read them out because they're too kind. But yes, thank you for your kindness.
Lots of people jumping in with some more Aussie bands. Radio Birdman, yes. Benny H. The Saints, yes. Charlotte Healing says, I find myself missing Cold Chisel too. Yeah. I was listening to some Cold Chisel live the other day, and I know a lot of people took the mick out of Jimmy Barnes. Far out, man. His range is incredible, but how in tune he is in these live things before auto-tune.
Who is this?
Cold Chisel. So this is with Ian Moss, Jimmy Barnes, and anyway. But I really want you to listen to Ian Moss's playing because he's wonderful. I've met him a few times. I was at his house actually, and he borrowed a pedal off me, and he was just one of the most beautiful humans. Such a down to earth, lovely guy, but far out. He's just, just beautiful.
You'll have to
master, really, really great.
You'll have to find me some stuff, Dan, and we'll see.
Yeah, went and saw, and also amazing Australian band Carnival. Went and saw them on Friday night in Bristol, and had an amazing experience. Should I tell the story?
If you want to.
So my son, who's a Carnival fan, came with me, and this is the first time they've been back in the country for 7 years. And John was on the show years ago. We were back in Swindon. John Stockman, the bass player. Anyway, the guys are just a beautiful gaggle of humans, and they write incredible music. And so we went to Bristol, and they were awesome.
Hang on. Loads of people are moaning about midstream ads. There should not be midstream ads. I've got no idea why they're there. I'll see if I can turn them off. Really sorry.
If you refresh, do you get ads? You might do.
We're sorry, mate. Carry on with your story. I'm really sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, so anyway, I have a son with me who's 16, and he's a really good lad. And John said, "Hey, come up, come and hang out. Come up on the stage." Zach was on the stage, like first time on a big stage, and he's like, "Whoa!" He goes upstairs and hanging out with the band. And he's like, Zach's like, where's the drummer? Because Zach sat down and was chatting to the drummer for 10 minutes, and then Drew's like, "You guys want a beer?" And Zach never had a beer before, and Zach's looking up at me, and I'm like, you know what? As far as first beer experiences go, this amazing. So they had a bottle of there, which is pretty light, and
basically not even alcohol, is it?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Zach had his first beer with Carnival, and at the end, all the boys signed his bottle. And it's his now prized possession. It was so flippant. It was just great. And it's just like an experience I'll never forget. Yeah, it was really, really lovely. So thanks to John and the boys from Carnival for just being awesome humans. And yeah, really lovely.
It's a great story.
It's a great story.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the ads here. Yeah. Apologies. Is there a balloon over England, says Swartzy? Don't know. There may as well be. Milo Longboarder says, Korg Toneworks AX1000G and 04 50th anniversary Strat. Views. If it works for you, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's such a thing.
Yeah, the only time I think any of those things sound in a bit acceptable is if you're in headphones practicing.
Right.
The minute you get it loud into anything, it just, I don't know, it sounds like sadness to me. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but this is the truth. And I you know, whether it's a highly compressed MP3, whether it's whatever it is, it's just tiring. Once you're used to listening to nice analog stuff at a respectable volume, it's just hard work for me,
Sure.
personally.
Yeah.
Where that all changes is at low volume, and you can't benefit from that loud analog thing.
Yeah.
And then I think those things make absolute perfect sense in those environments because you do get a sense of weight in the sound because they're always too bassy for loud use. You always get an enveloping sense of the effects because they tend to be pretty wet. I know you can edit all of that, but certainly in the presets. And that all sounds great when it's quiet, and it really does involve you, especially in headphones. It involves you in a way that can be quite inspiring, I think. But
like I love my Wazza Air thing. They're for getting up 6 o'clock in the morning and sitting down for an hour before anyone else is up and practicing. It's completely appropriate, and it sounds great. I do need to balance that. If I do that all the time, and then let's say I don't plug into an amp for a month, it's like, oh wow, this is different. You know, having that, it's a, you know, playing at volume is a different thing, but they do sound great. It's a really valuable tool in an appropriate environment.
yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about context, as we discussed a little bit in the vlog on Friday. You know, what's your playing environment and what works best in that environment?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, never ask someone's opinion on something. It's always disappointing.
Yeah, indeed.
I know I never ask anyone what they think of my sound because I know I'm going to get better. Well, you know, if you swapped out this for that and it could be better, and you know, if someone else was playing a guitar, it'd be really good. Buy pedal tips, says Ranzer. It's been a while. Nice to hear from you, Ran. He said, I'm back from a business trip in which I got a Crazy Tube Circuits Mark I